Hi everyone, I'm here at the 12th Annual ACG Healthcare Conference in New York City. I'm here with Delphine from Duane Morris. Delphine, thanks so much for spending a few minutes with me.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
I'm glad to have a chance to talk with you.
Likewise.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and Duane Morris, if you don't mind.
No, I'd love to. So I'm Delphine. I'm a regulatory healthcare attorney. Duane Morris is an international firm. We have over 850 attorneys worldwide and a very strong healthcare practice focused on access, delivery, and investment in healthcare. So we represent a wide range of healthcare entities, including private equity and investment banks in their investments in the healthcare space.
So tell me a little bit more about what does a regulatory healthcare attorney do?
Sure.
And how do you work with private equity and add value in that space?
Sure. So you're not the first one to ask me that. Usually I get do you sue physicians? Not at all. So healthcare is the most, or the second most, if you want to debate with securities folks, regulated industry in our country. So there's nothing that can be done in the healthcare space that doesn't have at least one federal or state regulation, if not more, that affects it. So what we do is we partner with clients and help them meet their goals, their business goals, their operational goals, their financial goals, and make sure they're compliant. And not just make sure they're compliant, but try to use the regulations to advance their cause, to give them an advantage and say, well, have you looked at this reimbursement? Or have you looked at the way we could structure it this way that would be better for your investors, that would be better and eventually for patient care.
Okay.
So, I consider us to be a strategic piece of that conversation.
Sure.
And the other end of it is when you don't consult us, and it's so regulated that you come up with this great model, or you're targeting a company that seems like it has a great model, but at its core, what it's doing violates federal state regulations.
I can see where that could be a problem.
And you know what? That happens more than you would think.
Really? Interesting. So I really enjoyed your panel earlier. I
thank
thought
you.
You really did a great job hosting the panel. Can you share a little bit about some of the content from the panel and any key takeaways?
Sure. So our panel was where PE firms are placing their bets. One of the interesting areas which all of our panelists are looking into, focused on, which you didn't hear several years ago, are autism therapy. We just touched on autism therapy, but also other ADA therapies, both in the home and at school, and that is a growth area. Women's health is another area where we're seeing growth, and certain sectors that we were seeing a lot of activity in several years ago, radiology, dermatology, urology, really those have saturated in a lot of ways. One of the themes that we heard, not just from our panel but other panelists, is the importance of management. And the numbers can look great, but if the management's not there, it's swift action is necessary because you're never going to meet your goals.
Yeah, interesting. So as you're talking with your clients, I'm wondering, are there any trends that you're seeing kind of looking around the corner? Are there any particular trends that you're seeing?
Looking around the corner. So we're still seeing a tremendous amount of consolidation. And a lot of the dialogue is around sort of betting who's going to be consolidating with whom, what are the plays going to be. You're seeing non-traditional arrangements. You're seeing, the Mayo Clinic is in Florida, which that isn't a surprising play, but also you're seeing a lot of cross-state consolidation, which, around the New York, the tri-state area isn't as surprising. Penn's in New Jersey, not surprising. But we're seeing more cross-state plays than we were seeing before, as players like UPMC, for example, not only is the biggest employer now in Pennsylvania, but is expanding in New York, in Ohio. So a lot of focus on consolidation and how that's going to then roll over with physician practices, vendors, what are going to be the plays with the vendors. So that's going to continue to dominate the market until there's no more consolidation that can happen, or until they start spinning off their portfolios, which we're also seeing a lot of sales because larger systems are spinning off, or until also we start seeing the Department of Justice come in and saying, this is too much. Historically has not been that involved with nonprofit healthcare, but now we're at a tipping point.
Well, it sounds like a perfect place to be when you're a regulatory attorney, because there's so much happening in that area.
There is. I just say, regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, there are new laws constantly that are then challenged in the court system, and then so all of that requires interpretation of the laws.
Sure.
So, and that's what I do.
Excellent.
And I love it. And I hope I, add value to my clients.
Excellent. So I'd like to shift gears for a moment, if we could. Talk a little bit about ACG.
Yeah.
How are you engaged in ACG, and where do you see value from it?
So, I think you can hear it just from the buzz, behind us, the connections, I think the camaraderie, I've been chatting with a variety of different people tonight who are focusing on different areas, different markets, different parts of the country, and really bringing that platform together. I mean, it's not that often. This is a really rare opportunity. That's why everybody looks forward to this conference every year. To come together, not just see your old friends, see the colleague that you are on the other side of the phone with all the time, but also to see what else is going on in the industry. So great substantive content, but that especially now, where so much is by email, so much is by text, by video conference. There was a recent Harvard Business Review article last week about the importance and the effectiveness of the face-to-face, and what we're doing tonight is that face-to-face.
Excellent. So last question, any advice you would have maybe to an ACG newbie on how to really engage with the ACG community and both contribute and gain from it?
So, I've found in my experience that when you volunteer, the more you give, the more you get. So is there, possibly a committee, or is there possibly an initiative that you can get involved with? And then also then you can, meet with the others who are on that committee or on that initiative in a way that's not just passing at a cocktail party, a way to, again, connect with others. So I find particularly when I join a new organization, where is there an opportunity where maybe they have a need? Maybe it's not the most popular committee, but where do they have a need? Where can I add value?
Sure. Well, great. Thank you. I think that's great advice.
Well,
thanks so much for spending a few minutes with me, and thank you for doing such a great job with your panel earlier, and for everything you do for ACG in the community.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Well, I've been speaking with Delphine O'Rourke from Duane Morris here at the 12th Annual ACG Healthcare Conference in New York City. That's a wrap.